Hi, my name is Austin Baker, and this is an analysis of my social media use. By my observations, I noticed that 95% of my motivations to use social media was to either keep updated with new trends, post to show that I'm cool, relevant, and updated, and the last one could be classified as passivity. The first two motivations go hand in hand. The first motivation is concerned with keeping up with popular topics, while the second motivation is concerned with impressing other users. The ubiquitous nature of technology surrounding us in all aspects of our lives have shifted these ideas of the digital social sphere into our real social sphere. We are now only concerned with the topics presented to us on these social media platforms instead of the politics of our world. I find it concerning that the majority of my social media use is concerning other people. I will rarely find myself using social media networking just for networking or reading an article on politics, but quickly grabbing onto anything about my favorite celebrities on Instagram throughout the day or even other close acquaintances. This artificially produced culture by these platforms have led to social media networking doing the exact opposite of its intended purpose. Instead of bringing us together, we lose the message on the way, making jokes and memes about the serious issues of our people, such as the recent rallies. I found that my highest motivational factor for social media use was the first concern with keeping updated. This accounted for 45% of my use through a split of Instagram and Facebook. The second motivation took up only 15% of my social media use, attributed entirely by Instagram. I'll find myself needing to post every once in a while to glamorize my life to other users. The last blaringly obvious characteristic of this new culture that I uncovered within my analysis is passivity. This accounted for a large percentage of my media use at 35%, with only 5% being attributed to communication and networking. I noticed that my social media interactions were passive in nature as I spent a considerable amount of time just scrolling through my feed on Instagram and Facebook with no real purpose of what to find or even socialize with. We no longer use these platforms for communication, but we accept and follow the useless topics that social media platforms release to us. From my social media use presented earlier, you will notice that these social media networking platforms are no longer about networking at all, as only 5% of my use is for communication. We have departed the politics of our people as the popular topic of discussion and moved into a new culture of instances, where we only value what will give us stimuli or interest in the moment. I believe this passivity as a part of this new culture was most likely produced to keep us satisfied and non-resistant to these social media platforms. I find it exasperating that the social media meant to help us better network and communicate has done the exact opposite and worked so hard to produce these motives within us. Throughout this autoethnography, I have mainly learned that my motivations to use social media networking, along with the world we live in, are artificially produced. We have become a commodity forced into this new culture that abandons our values, along with social media's original purpose of networking, to now live in a world where we are controlled and guided by the holders of these platforms.